Hey everybody, what's going on today? Hope everybody's enjoying their Saturday. Hopefully you're able to enjoy some time with family and friends, get some things done, whatever the case may be, for the things that you need to get done or have fun with. Today I wanted to discuss a video topic of communications or lack thereof in terms of, an SHTF or grid down type situation. At the end of the day, if we are attacked in any fashion, whether it be by EMP or, God forbid, a nuke or more conventional methods, the one thing you can just about guarantee is that there will be no communication capabilities between the folks. And in the military, it's something that we prepare for regularly. And of course, the military is somewhat insulated from these things, but we as civilians, we got problems in the area of communications. However, there are some things that we can do to somewhat minimize the effects of an attack, whether it be from an EMP or other type of electronic, hacks, surveillance, virus issues, things like that. EMP, of course, is basically going to wipe out anything with a chip, from what I understand. Anything with a chip or, new age wiring is pretty much going to be done. That's what I understand. I'm not an expert on it by any means, but there are some good sources out there for those of you that want to learn more about how to insulate yourself from EMP attack. There's a lot of theories out there. There's some options on things that you can buy or make currently. One thing being a set of these Mylar bags, these blackout bags, so to speak. These come from the Blackout Company. There's different sizes. I've got some of my stuff protected in some of these bags, and then also there's these Faraday cages that everybody hears about, which is basically a insulated metal box which allows the current to go around the actual device, sort of like a grounding rod system for lightning. I understand it, but again, I'm not an expert. There are things that you should probably research. And with regard to communications, obviously the cell towers are going to be fried. What I'm talking about is mainly like two-way radios. If you've got a family that relies on, two-way radios or has a plan to rely on them and regarding an emergency situation, you probably need to have those radios protected. I would venture to guess that cell phone usage is going to be, basically zero after a situation like this. So, there's other forms of communication devices, obviously, but two-way radios are pretty solid method of, short communications between people, flat line of sight and such. But, if you have those things, you might want to protect them so they don't get fried in the case of an attack of some sort, some type of electronic attack. They don't take up much room. They're pretty affordable, these blackout bags. I would encourage those of you that don't have a Faraday cage to maybe research it and maybe build your own or buy one perhaps. But I think it's a pretty minimal cost for you to be somewhat protected from that type of attack should occur. And then, alternate communications are huge. With the state of the world and the chaos that is likely to ensue pending some type of attack of this nature, you already need to have a plan in place, you know. And when I say a plan, I'm talking about, you know, if you have to vacate your domicile, your residence, and you have to hit the road, do you have a pre-planned, you know, rally point or meeting place for your friends and family to go to, assuming that there's zero communication out there? Like day 3, zero communications up, you already know you need to be heading that way. I think that most of us should, if they don't already, have that plan in place. I think that you should probably research that plan and rehearse that plan as far as driving to it, etc., etc. Know how much fuel it's going to take under normal conditions. Understand the routing, alternate routes. Have a good memory on how to get there. Know possible pitfalls along the way. These are just things that make sense, you know, because even back during the Cold War, you know, we were big on, you know, radio jamming and communications interruptions and things like that, because if you can't communicate, you're basically dead. And you know, the military has their protections in place, and that's great, but we as civilians, you know, don't have a whole lot of options when it comes to those types of things. So we have to rely on more conventional protection methods, you know, like I said, these Mylar bags, Faraday cages, things of that nature. And, you know, these aren't even guarantees that they'll work, you know. I think that anything electronic that you plan to rely on in case of a communications level attack, you know, you need to have protected. If you have anything extra that, you know, you don't currently use, you have set aside. And that could be anything from, my God, to a little weather radio, to cell phones, to, you know, maybe an extra CPAP machine, to calculators. My God, I don't know. I mean, it runs the gamut, you know, cameras, whatever the case might be. Things that you value electronically that could be damaged during such an attack, you might want to take the means to try to protect them as much as you can, being that I think the likelihood of such a preemptive strike would be just about certain if we were to be attacked by another country. You already see these penetration, you know, testing scenarios going on, trying to see how deep they can get, what's our reaction to their attack, how do they then respond to our reaction to such an attack. There's a lot that goes into these things, and there's a lot more to it than meets the eye, and there's usually a lot deeper, you know, operations than they appear to be on the surface. So I would be prepared for no communications in the event of a major disaster or an attack from another entity. So anyway, please keep your stuff, you know, protected. You know, I personally have gotten away from the battery powered items. I have gone more to a recharging system, a USB system, where I can just either charge it with a vehicle, you know, AC/DC adapter, or maybe a little solar rig, or you know, whatever the case may be. I'm not going to be lugging around batteries and having them expire and leak and this and that. And I would encourage you to do the same thing. I would pretty much go flashlights, you know, radios, any type of lighting, emergency lighting, anything that you can to go USB. Just make sure that you have some of those things protected in case of such an attack. So anyway, have a great weekend. Please like, share, and subscribe. And always remember, long live the Republic.